dear listener, look at you. You've stumbled across this podcast that's going to be about Jersey Shore. I love Jersey Shore.
It's the podcast no one asked for is what it is.
Yeah, and it's way past like the point where this was relevant.
Way past the point. We're 10 plus years out from the start of this thing.
Yeah. This is a podcast that no one is asking for, but we're going to do it anyway.
And that's the content that we strive to deliver. So
I love Jersey Shore.
Me too, dude. I loved it back then. I love it now.
Really? Did you watch it right from the beginning, like when it started airing, or how did you get involved with Jersey Shore?
I don't think I started watching the show right off the bat, only because, and you know this about our family, but for those of you who don't, we never paid for TV, and I believe Jersey Shore was always an MTV show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we never had cable anything. So we never were able to watch. I was never able to watch Jersey Shore right from the beginning. So I think I kind of fell into it. 2009, I would have been 2 years out of high school. So I was probably just finishing up community college at the time and was probably like transferring into SMU.
This is my co-host Christy, who's also my sister, by the way, just in case you don't know who we are or recognize us by our voices. My name is, I wonder what I'm going to call myself on this, Steven.
I think you should call yourself what you are.
Steve.
Steve-o.
Because I introduce myself differently to different people.
That's going to be up to you then.
You know, strangers, I introduce myself as Steven because, I don't know, I think Stevie's a little...
I call you Steve.
Yeah. Well, we'll roll with that. I'm Steve. I don't like it.
Maybe what we can do, like because of the nature of this podcast, we can actually come up with our own Jersey Shore nicknames.
Yes, that is an amazing idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And then we can refer to each other. That's a great idea.
So
it'll be a journey of discovery. I wonder how long it takes a Guido or a Guidette to come up with their name.
I think it's one of those things, kind of like nicknames in general. You kind of just happen upon them because you do something funny or you have a look about you. You have a funny saying or something like that.
Oh, do you think a nickname needs to be something that you come up with yourself, or can it be, or does it need to be something that other people call you?
I feel like it's something that's bestowed.
Because Mike, the situation,
yeah,
he bestowed that upon himself.
Correct. I guess personality has something to do with how you get your nickname then.
And Mike certainly has a personality, does he?
They all do, man. They all do. So yeah, anyways, circling back around.
Yeah, 2009.
I would have been on my way into SMU at that time. And like I said, I don't think I actually fell into the show until, it was probably a couple of years after that, whenever I started streaming it online. I think MTV had all the episodes up to that point for free online. So that's when I started getting kind of obsessed with it.
Yeah, I think this might have been the first show that I ever streamed, like online.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, again, like you said earlier, we didn't watch it when it first came out. I got involved with Jersey Shore when I was in college. I went to a religious college a couple of years ago, and I remember being in the dorms, and every time one of the episodes would air, I mean, all the guys would be in one room, like from every room in our dorm watching Jersey Shore. Yeah, it was because it was like our way of living
vicariously through the
having
characters.
Like a real college experience, because again, it was, we couldn't do, there was a whole lot of stuff
y'all were limited.
Couldn't do. I didn't actually watch it with those guys. I always thought the show was real stupid. It's
debatable.
I was super against the show when it first came. Like, I was like adamant about not watching the show at all. I just thought it was like lowbrow. It's like, why do I want to, look in that? I guess things were just good back then. And then when my life took a turn, I was like, you know what? Let's get
God. Okay.
I always used to say it's a great show to watch when you're feeling bad about yourself.
That is true. Yeah. Also, Cops.
Cops is good. I like Cops, but that's just because I like being, in other people's business.
That's true. So, I mean, that's what this show is all about, is being in other people's business.
Yeah.
However scripted or not it may be.
In the best way. I think it's a great show. I would like to think that not a lot of the show is scripted, but obviously
I think maybe as it developed over the seasons, it probably got a little more.
Because you got to keep on upping the crazy.
Yeah. You got to kind of keep creating the drama. I mean, that's the whole reason why you watch is
Yeah,
for the drama.
the
So I
drama.
feel like maybe the production crew probably did have a hand in creating a lot of the tension that we saw on screen between any of the characters. So
I would like to be that instigator, like the hey, JWoww, did you hear what Vinny was talking about? He said just said the other day. You should go, kind of, even though that was probably not true at all. Just
all of which
stoking
we
the
will get
flames.
into as we get to these particular
Yeah.
episodes. For now, we're actually just starting out with the pilot.
Pilot episode, first one, which aired. It was December. It aired in December 2009.
December 2009.
Yeah.
And a couple of things that were happening in the world
Yeah.
in 2009.
Let's go back. Let us go back
let's
to
go back.
2009. Okay, that's not necessary.
Is that a good?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it.
We'll find some
We'll
find some
we can start a little
sounds.
soundboard that we can start implementing some stuff in there.
The Bitcoin network was created.
Oh, first inkling of a rapidly changing world. I almost bought Bitcoin back when it first kind of came out. I almost bought about $12 worth of Bitcoin.
You really missed that train, didn't you?
Yeah, I certainly did.
Now it's all like crypto.
it's crypto. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's crypto.
Nice. I don't know the difference. So
It'd be like saying money and a dollar, right? Money's general, a dollar specific. Crypto is general, Bitcoin specific.
got it.
Yeah.
All passengers survived a flight malfunction on the Hudson River, piloted by Chelsea Sullenberger.
Yeah. Sully's Last Stand was the movie.
That was a good movie. I liked it.
I'm pretty sure that's not the name.
No. I think it's just called Sully.
He landed that plane pretty good on that
Man,
in the
that is
Hudson.
literally my worst nightmare, but let's not get into that. Barack Obama became the 44th president of the
44
U.S.
And I remember that. I remember that
as well.
very distinctly.
Momentous
Yeah.
occasion.
I was still in high school at that point. Was I still in high school at that point? It's 2008, 2009.
Nine,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was still in high school. That's wild.
An oil spillage in Kenya killed hundreds.
Oh God, do you have anything fun?
All right. Let's. There's another crash here.
Chia
That's not good.
Were Chia Pets still a thing? Furbies? When did those come out? Can we talk about something
I think
fun?
you're dating us a little bit there.
Is that dating us a lot?
Grindr was launched to the public.
Look at that. Grindr, fulfilling the dreams and the hopes of many a gay man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Helen Clark became the first woman to lead the UNDP.
Okay. All right. I don't know who that is.
I don't know what that is. So.
All right, cool. Yeah, this is not a lot of really cool stuff that was happening. Was there anything fun happening in 2009? What was going on?
North Korea conducted several missile tests.
Okay, yeah. It's just all depressing.
Ooh, H1N1 flu was declared a global
Well,
pandemic.
would you look at that?
That's
Because,
timely.
yeah, we are right in the middle of another pandemic.
The Statue of Liberty crown was reopened to the public.
Why was it closed?
It was closed for about 8 years.
What?
Which I did not know.
Why would they close it?
Oh, well, it was due to the World Trade Center attacks.
Oh, that good
So
decade of being closed. And they were
Yeah.
like, we think it's safe now. Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Here's a good one for you. Los Angeles declared October 2nd, 2009, to be Stan Lee Day.
Oh, Stan Lee, good man, enough said. Semper, what was his saying that? Ecstasy now? That's not it. Did he say? Excelsior. That's what he would say.
Joe Cotta claimed the title of the youngest World Series poker champion.
Okay, so yeah,
At just the sweet age of 21.
lots of fun stuff happening in 2009.
Lots of good stuff.
Here's what I remember in 2009. Everyone dressed horribly. There was lots of thin eyebrows and Ed Hardy. I mean, you couldn't walk down the street without seeing an Ed Hardy shirt.
Yes.
We're going to get into that here in a second because the whole
yes.
opening of this show, it's like if an Ed Hardy shirt came to life. Mm-hmm. There's a lot. There's a lot. And we'll get into this later. I actually started doing an Ed Hardy like check, a spot every time I see an Ed Hardy, give a little mark or something like that.
Good one, yeah.
Yeah, so we can see maybe how many. Sometimes it's hard to see because it could be affliction,
Correct.
Um,
Or some other god-awful brand.
yeah, terrible. I had one of those shirts. I was purple and gold.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a V-neck. It was a deep V-neck.
Nice.
I got that when I was in Ecuador. I think I wore it maybe once or twice, and I just couldn't get my head around it. It's no good. Okay, so anyway, well, that's how we were introduced to the show. I love this show. I think it's great. It's hilarious. I watched it, several times all the way through. So why don't we go ahead and start talking about the first episode here, which is the pilot, which like we said earlier, it came out 2009 in December and really rocked the worlds of, at least me.
Definitely me too.
Yeah, it really, for a while there, I was like, I want to do that. I want to live that life. And I did it for like a weekend, and I was like, you know what, not for me.
It's a hard life to live, man.
But they are living it, aren't they?
They really are.
Look, here's the thing I didn't realize until recently. What?
Your iPhone go off?
I don't know. Did it?
I heard something.
Everyone put your phones on silent. Come on. Be professional. What was I saying?
Do you want me to read a recap of the first episode?
You want to give us a summary? Yeah, go for it.
All right. Episode 1, Season 1, titled A New Family. Original air date December 3rd, 2009. And the viewership in the U.S. was 1.38 million. Summer at the Jersey Shore kicks off when 8 soon-to-be roommates move into their summer share. Romance heats up between Sammy and Mike, but all might be lost when the guys invite 3 random girls to join them in the hot tub. Meanwhile, Snooki comes on way too strong and finds herself the outcast. She can only hope that the first impressions won't be lasting impressions.
Snooks really did get off on a bad start in this episode.
She really did. I think she went in super nervous.
I think that's exactly what happened. I don't think she'd been used to being in a situation where she wasn't known. So to come into something completely new like that.
And it sounds like she had never really been away from home either, which is surprising.
I wonder how old was Snooks?
So I looked up their ages because I was very curious about, I was just, because she makes a comment, she says something along the lines of, I just don't think I'm mature enough to be at home, like away from home. And I'm just like, wait a minute, y'all are older.
20, they're in the like mid-20s.
Okay, so Snooki in season 1 is about 22 years old.
Which is fair.
It's fair, and that also makes her the youngest in the house. Which would make Polly the oldest, which surprised me. Do you want to take a guess at how old he was?
I actually know how old he is in this first episode. What I don't know is how old Mike is, because I'm assuming that Mike is the oldest person, ever.
Right. So that surprised me because I did think Mike was the oldest, but he's not. So Polly is the oldest at 29 years old of season 1. So Mike is 27, Jenny is 23, Vinny and Sam are both 22. They're still not technically the youngest, though. I guess just depending on when their birthdays fall compared to Snooki. Mm-hmm. Ron is 24, and then Angelina's 23.
Mike is living life, huh? He's living a hard life, it looks like.
He really is.
I love Mike.
I hate Mike. I hate Mike so much.
Why?
He is, oh man, do we want to get into this right now?
Let's go for it.
He is the biggest tool I think I have ever seen in my life. How do you make it through life with this ego, man?
Big ol' ego.
Oh my God.
Yeah, big ol' ego. Guy
egotistical, misogynistic. I mean, he runs the gamut.
I love it. He's always instigating something.
Always, from the very start. I think I have that. I wrote that somewhere in my notes. He already starts right off the bat, causing problems for people.
Mike morphs into like whatever situations he kind of needs to be in.
He is a player, man. He plays the field and he plays the game and he plays it well.
Yeah, he does play it well. The hard gel hair, not a big fan.
That's the look, though. They all have that.
It's hard to look back on all this kind of stuff and be like, that's what we used to dress like.
It's rough.
Well, not us.
Not us personally. Well,
I don't think most people.
We had some moments. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. So let's circle back to so apparently in the trivia, I got a little trivia for you. Cast members found out that they were casted on the show like a day before they needed to like go.
Yes, I think I knew that. Which is insane. It's
really
wild.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah, you get the call and then that's it. You have to drop everything and go.
I wonder if that was an on purpose thing where they're like, let's get them uncomfortable, and the best way to do that, I mean, is just to rip them from their homes, or if casting had just come down to like it just took them forever to get the cast together.
It's probably a little bit of both, honestly, and I would see why that would be a good strategy to get people like when they're not expecting it, pretty much, because you don't want to give them a chance to start talking ahead of the show.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What that did do for us is it gave us our first glimpse of who Angelina really is.
Oh God.
Because she shows up at the house. I forget what order she shows up in, but what'd she bring in the house?
I believe she shows up last, which is fitting for her. And not only does she show up last, but without a suitcase. And in lieu of a suitcase, she's carrying, was it 1 or 2?
I believe it was 2.
Big black garbage bag
the
fulls.
Construction ones that you put leaves and like debris and stuff you never want to like see again.
Not even the indoor household garbage bag. It's like the outdoor style.
It's like the construction, like heavy duty plastic.
And the first one who comments on it, I believe, is Polly. He says something to the effect of, you didn't have a family member you could borrow a suitcase from? Like, I don't know about that.
In the trivia that I read, it says that because it was such short notice, she just didn't have time, which I don't know. I don't know about that.
Who doesn't have a suit? Seriously?
Right. And these people seem like they all live together.
Anyone
with their
in your
family.
any of your friends, even like.
But ask. Just
ask.
They had cell phones back then, right? 2009.
Yeah, they did.
She could have called someone.
You could have knocked on a neighbor's door.
I would like to think that she was like, yeah, this will work. I want to know her thought process behind like,
yeah,
I guess I'm just going to go in trash bags. But that's our first little introduction there to Angelina here.
And unfortunately, I think that's how she gets her name, Trash Bag, later.
Yeah, a hamster.
She gets called a couple of things.
She's a dirty little hamster.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we are going to get into it. It's very
But I
good.
did love, right off the top of the pilot, we're getting the intros to all of these people. We've never met them before, never seen them before. We're getting like the insider view into this culture and this lifestyle. And the show fittingly starts with Pauly D.
Pauly D. Well, one of my favorites.
One of my favorites,
Pauly D
Loved
is
him always.
the man. Yeah.
Yep.
He was a little bit more thug.
Yeah.
Starting out.
But you know what? I also think that he was a little more well known out of all of them too, because he had his DJ career already going. And you can tell from this opening footage that it looks like part of it is like snipped in with audition footage potentially. Mm-hmm. Like maybe they had to submit their own videos.
Yeah.
For auditions.
I think they actually went and auditioned because how Snooki got the gig was, she just came in drunk to the audition and was doing cartwheels and like being loud and all this kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure she got cast like right away.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see how they put the whole opening montage in, because it does look like it's spliced in with some home footage almost of them filming themselves for the show.
Yeah, that's true. We also get the first glimpse into that hair. Pauly, the hair.
And the process of the hair.
The process of it. And he grabs...
That thing is an enigma.
It transcends everything about the show, I think.
And you remember seeing him with the hair down, not all blown out? Very weird.
Strange.
Very strange.
He looked like Justin Bieber. But not in a good way.
The shape of it is so odd when it's not all up.
It's very flat.
It's very odd. He looks like a human mushroom.
Yeah, he looks weird.
The accents do seem thicker in this episode. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I did pick up on that. You know what I picked up on? Pauly D's using a brand of gel that's called Got to Be Glue. Now, I don't know if you know anything about this product.
I've not heard that brand in so long, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's cement for your hair.
Yeah.
You put that in your hair.
The neon bottles.
Yeah. Your hair is not going anywhere. So when Pauly D says he's riding a motorcycle around and that hair is going to be set, it is set. I can't imagine how long it must take for him to crinkle the gel out of his hair.
But can you imagine if the process of it going up, can you imagine taking it down, like how much comes out in the shower?
It must be horrible because
insane.
That's too much hair washing.
I wonder if he's redoing it every day.
I don't think every day.
You can't.
I think he could get away with maybe a day or two of that same hair.
Yeah.
Your problem is when you eat the pillow. A little flat spot,
yes.
you know, unless they're just good at,
Yeah.
you know, maybe they sleep sitting up to protect the hair because, you know, they're all about
anything for beauty.
the whole image. Yeah. Next person we get introduced to is Mike. And I have a note here. It says, Mike, has Mike always looked old?
Pretty much. That's why I was shocked whenever I discovered that Mike was not, the oldest.
27. He looks like a grown man.
He really does. It's unfortunate.
27. I'm 29, and I don't look, I think I look like a child.
I don't know if you clocked this, but on his little intro, he has so many good quotes. One of them was, "We usually work out 5 days a week," as he's smoking a cigarette.
It doesn't get more Jersey than that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I can smell all of these people, by the way, just so you know, and it's mostly cigarettes is when I'm like hearing or smelling in my head. Yeah, Mike, interesting. We're gonna get into Mike again. This is still early days, but the next person that we get introduced to is gonna be Sammy.
Yeah.
Right.
Sweet but sour.
Sweet Sammy. I like Sammy.
I do. I like her. She has her moments where I'm kind of like really turned off by her, but overall, I think she's a really good character.
When those moments come up, it almost does seem a little out of character, though, because for the most part, she is pretty sweet. She's an instigator, like all of them are. She's got that like every girl face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Out of the rest of them,
she's very like girl next door.
Yeah, exactly. Girl next door. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I like Sammy a lot. Next, we get introduced to Vinny. And when Vinny came on the screen when I was rewatching the first episode, I got a big old smile on my face. Vinny is the man.
Vinny is just the typical stay-at-home, live-at-home mama's boy. He was sweating profusely in all of his talking head footage. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I've got a note right here that says pit stains. So yeah, I clocked in on that right away.
Definitely clocked in on that. Sweating profusely.
So much.
But you know what? I love how genuine Vinny is out of all of them. He is the one who seems to stay very consistent.
Yeah.
Like he is who he is type of a character. And I really appreciate that.
He's not really trying to prove anything.
No.
He's just out there just being Vinny.
One funny line that he talks about, here's a quotable from Vinny in his opening footage. He says he's waited 21 long years of anticipation to get into shore bars, which would mean he, as a 1-year-old, could not wait to get into a Jersey Shore bar.
Get out there. And
that's what he's been waiting for with all his 21 years of life.
Pump some fist. Let's do some shots. Let's dance. Somebody makes a point of saying what time they go out at night. 11:30.
Yeah.
11:30. Okay. I'm not going anywhere after 6.
I don't even think we started nights back in my college days at 11:30.
No.
Well, it could also be a region thing because bars here in Texas or in Dallas at least close at 2. I believe East Coast probably stays open longer till like 4 or something like that.
Especially at those real touristy, like the shore.
Yeah, that might could have something to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, we've talked about Vinny's pit stains. I'm glad we both saw that. That's kind of interesting. It's a little more concerning because we both saw that. Next person that we get introduced to is JWoww. And what were your first thoughts of JWoww?
I thought it was really interesting that they showed that she lives with her boyfriend at the time, whose name is Tom, and we get more into their storyline later, which is really an unfortunate situation for her and him, for more so her. But so I just thought it was interesting right off the bat that we were seeing that she already is coming from a relationship when it seems like this is a party house, and that's not really kind of what you do whenever you go to the shore.
Mm-hmm. Adds to the drama. I remember everyone had the biggest crush on JWoww. All the guys in the dorm.
She's a hot little thing. I mean, her style's out there for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're into the Guidette look, she's hot.
Yeah, she's got those thin eyebrows that were so popular back then.
Oh yeah.
And they just get thinner and thinner as the show goes on.
They really do. They really do.
JWoww's great. And then we get introduced to Ronnie.
They get thinner, things get bigger.
everyone does get bigger in this show.
There's a lot that gets bigger in this show.
Lots of things
in the
get bigger.
course.
Speaking of big, Ronnie.
Oh God.
I've got a note here that says Ronnie Hulk.
Oh man,
because that guy
is huge. I clocked that as well. I just remember thinking like, this guy is so big, he can barely fit through his own doorway.
Yeah.
Like, it's astonishing.
He's got that like every time I think of a superhero or something like that, I always think of his shape.
Yeah, it's like it's a cartoonish shape.
He's not thin. Like Mike is like almost slender but built, and even Paulie is more of that like Hollister kind of thing. But Ronnie's just big.
He's buff.
Ronnie's big and he's loud and he likes to have fun.
He's so loud, and he has probably out of all the cast members some of the best one-liners.
Yes.
I think. I mean, all I was making in my notes was one-liners from Ronnie, and I'll list a couple of them for you here.
What does he say?
Never fall in love at the Jersey Shore. That's a classic.
Classic.
Right after he says that, he says, "I don't know what love is, but
but don't do it." Yeah, smart.
Get laid. That's what they're going.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to the shore for. They come to you, like flies to shit. They come to you like flies to shit.
That's right.
Like,
talking about the girls. Yeah.
That's a good one. It says your bank account can be low, but you always have to look good. Super smart money management there.
Okay.
I don't know if you clocked this, but at some point they show him packing his bag. He comes out with the biggest can of protein powder I've ever seen.
He's got that extra big, like the 50-pounder.
And Josh, my husband, does the protein powders, the shakes, the whey, and all of that. So I've seen some pretty big cans of powder. I have never seen this size before.
He's a big boy and he needs a lot of protein, sis, and then to keep that physique.
The last quote that I clocked for him in his opener is beers, bitches, and beach. So we're hitting the trifecta with Ronnie here.
All B's there.
Very Dwightish of him.
Beers, bitches, and the beach. They don't go to the beach that often.
They don't.
As far as
ironically,
it looks like in the show, they don't go to the beach very often. I don't know why you would want to go to the beach at Jersey Shore. I feel like it's disgusting.
It doesn't look great.
I've never been, so what do I know? The other thing I noticed as the intros were going on is how old all their cars are.
Yeah.
The car situation changes drastically.
It really does, and it's fascinating to watch that situation evolve over the season.
You see them accumulate wealth.
Yes.
As the show goes on. I think it's also really interesting that in this first season, no one knows who these guys are, you know what I mean? So they're just walking in the streets and no one's stopping them. But as the show goes on, every time they go outside, more and more people kind of start like crowding around them. So this first season is a very pure version of this show because no one knew who they were. Do you know what I mean? Which I think adds to like the quaintness of this crazy show and what it ends up becoming as it goes down the road.
Yep.
Let's see. Then I got another note here. Let's see. Man, I don't know what this word says.
We can't read our own notes over here. I'm squinting as well.
Okay. So Mike was the one who arrives first at the office. I've just got a note here that says because he's old
at the house.
Yeah. What'd I say?
The office.
Oh my God. stuck in work mode over here.
Either that or I said Dwight and you switched shows over here.
I was definitely thinking about work. I think that's funny. Mike introduces himself as Mikey to Paulie.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Hey, I'm Mikey."
Oh, okay.
Because Paulie said, "Hey, I'm Paulie."
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm Mikey."
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Then he introduces himself as Michael to Sammy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he starts changing.
Yeah. Yeah. The chameleon starts coming out.
And I don't think a situation gets dropped until a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah, I think when we first hear that is maybe when they're getting introduced to the boss, Danny.
It's either that or when they're giving their Guidette names.
Oh, okay.
I think they might be talking about that, and then they give out their little names.
We'll probably get to that, but I don't want to gloss over, one of the best characters in the opening footage, which is Angelina. She was the last one we did not talk about. She's known as the maybe she kind of calls herself the Kim Kardashian of Staten Island.
Yeah, she definitely calls herself that.
In her opening footage, did you pick up on that she's topless? Did you pick up on that?
She's topless?
I had to go back and rewind it, and
Really?
I'm pretty sure she at least has like the back of her bikini or bra or whatever it is that she's in undone, and she's laying on her stomach. And I'm pretty sure she's topless in one of her clips.
You know, I didn't notice. That's news to me, and I think it's because I don't like Angelina all that much, so I think I just glossed right over her whole little.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't like Angelina either if I met her for the first time.
I don't think
She's
I would
a lot.
either. She's so much.
Yeah, she's a lot. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, the show goes on. Everyone kind of getting together. Everyone
At this point, we're transitioning over to Seaside Heights.
Yeah. Let me see.
And the amount of lip balm that has been used up to now is insane. Every single one of them, I feel like, has dipped their little pinky finger into a little canister of balm.
Who's doing the most dippage? Do you think balming?
I want to say that Mike.
Oh, you think Mike?
Might be.
I didn't think I noticed that as much. That's pretty interesting though. Boy, Snook's got a ratty ass car, huh?
She really does. Did you notice how huge that necklace / pendant thingy was that's hanging from her rear view mirror? It literally almost hits her in the face several times.
Really?
And no wonder she's such a bad driver. She probably can't see around that huge thing that she's got hanging.
I can't remember. Did she have one of those fuzzy steering wheels?
Oh, if she did, I didn't notice
I
it.
bet she does. I bet you if we went back and looked, she'd have one of those things. I hate those steering wheels.
You know what I thought was really funny too is as it shows them starting to arrive at the house, it cuts to Sammy in her car driving. And she is using printed MapQuest directions, turn by turn directions.
I noticed that. I saw that.
And I just loved that so much. Like, that is so of the time.
Yeah, so of the time. I wouldn't go anywhere back in 2009. I mean, I just couldn't do it. When GPS came into the world, it completely changed my life. I use GPS to come up here.
For sure. I feel like I use it even when I don't need to.
All I got to do is make like 2 turns and then it's straight the rest of the way.
There's been some advances in mapping. It shows you traffic. It shows you where to avoid. So
Can you believe people used to use paper maps to get around?
Wild. It's wild. I do remember helping the parents on our road trips.
How was no
with
one just
the foldable maps
consistently?
It's wild. Very wild. Another one-liner from Ronnie during the arriving at the house sequence is he was ready to get filthy, creepy, and weird.
Creepy. That's what you want to describe yourself
filthy,
as.
Creepy, and weird.
Oh, yeah. I bypassed filthy. Creepy is the worst one for me. This is when they first start. You can tell how little they all respect each other because Snooks gets called Snickers a lot.
Yes.
In this first 2 episodes.
Well, none of them can remember what her little nickname is. Snook, Snickers,
they don't have a problem with anyone else's nickname.
Right.
Just her. And I think that's because they all kind of like ganged up on her whenever
they started clicking against her right off the bat, and I didn't understand that.
Yeah. I think certain people just give off that vibe.
I guess. I just thought it was super mean. I thought it was super mean, but you can tell, like, back to your thought about them not respecting anyone in the house because they're all strangers to each other at this point. Vinny has a quote and upon Sammy's arrival, and he says, "Sam's not the hottest chick. I expect hotter." Yeah. I was like, dang. Like, ouch, man.
I expected hotter. Yeah, I think I might have a note about that somewhere.
And then he gets on Jenny because Jenny introduces herself and she says her nickname instead of her real name. She goes, "Hey, I'm JWoww." And it cuts to his talking head and he says, "Just say your name. You don't have to say my name is VWow."
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if there was some kind of protocol in that, which I guess there was. You introduce yourself with your name and then...
I don't know how they told them to go in to introduce themselves, but I do know I read this at some point, some kind of Jersey Shore factoid trivia or whatever, that the paperwork for the audition process required them to write down what their nickname was. So they all kind of had to come up with something, even if it wasn't a name that they went by regularly. So I don't even really think that Snooki was a name that she went by. It just kind of was something she had to put down.
That's interesting.
And I think maybe that could be the reason why we don't see nicknames for some of them. Like Ronnie, I mean, he really doesn't have a nickname, and neither does Vinny.
Unless Vinny is his nickname. It's Ronnie's full name.
Well, yeah,
Ronald.
his full name is Vincent.
Okay, so I guess kind of a
Vincenzo,
nickname.
Vincent, something.
Vincenzo. It's probably Vincenzo.
And then Ronnie would be Ronald.
Or Roncenzo?
Roncenzo.
It's probably not it.
Anyways, I just thought it was interesting how much Vinny was hating on the girls right off the bat. And at this point, I stopped taking notes on Ron's one-liners because I could not keep up with the quotables from him. Yeah. And then enters Angelina with the garbage bags full of her stuff. Screaming. I was screaming at that point.
At one point, I forget what she's talking about. At one point in the episode, she says something about something that somebody's wearing, and she's like, well, at least wear like a thong bikini. That's more classier. Do you remember that line?
Yes. I wrote, if you're going to wear anything at all.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it was. Says a lot about Angelina.
It comes up a little bit later in the episode, but they, right off the bat, as soon as everyone arrives at the house, they immediately dive into the bar, and this is when Nicole starts kind of going downhill really fast, and the roommates already start turning on her at this point. She runs upstairs to start yelling at Air at one point.
Air? Like at nothing?
Yeah.
She just goes up to scream?
She goes upstairs to the outside patio loft, whatever it is. They cut to some footage of her just yelling like out into the abyss. That's how like gone she's getting. I love that.
It's always the little ones. The little ones are the ones you got to keep an eye out for.
You really got to look out for those little ones, man.
Yeah, she gets in trouble right out the gate.
Yeah.
The other person who's getting into trouble right out the gate is Mike and Sammy, who start a little situation going on there in the beginning, which quickly devolves in the next episode.
The flirting with them just starts right off the bat, which I was just so creeped out about.
Yeah. It's not as creepy anymore knowing that Mike is not that much older than she is, but back in the day I was like, this 4-year-old is trying to get with, Sammy over here.
The other interesting clique that starts to develop is Sam and Angelina.
Yeah, that's right. Which I can't recall if that's a thread that continues throughout the show.
I think it deteriorates
as it goes on.
Yeah,
as she deteriorates,
as they start kind of figuring out Angelina's not all that she claims to be.
Well, she's the Kim Kardashian of the Greater Northwest. What was it?
Staten Island,
whatever.
And at this point, Snooki is in the hot tub in her underwear and ends up falling down the stairs. I cannot tell you how many people probably fell down those stairs in the course of all of these seasons, a lot of which we see. Mm-hmm. But ouch.
Yeah, the stuff that we don't see.
Right.
Who knows? We should do a fall counter on the stairs.
Yep.
We're going to have a lot of counters.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to do it. If someone else out there wants to give it a try and send us the details, we're open to that.
At some point in the night, I guess they kind of decide that they've had enough there at the house, and they decide to go explore the boardwalk, and they leave Snooki at home alone.
That's right.
Without letting her know, which again, I thought was super mean.
Yeah.
First night out. They're all getting to know each other, and they leave her behind because she got too drunk.
Yeah, bad move. I mean, look, she didn't do herself any favors by doing that, of course. You just never know how people are going to react to that kind of a thing. But yeah, party foul. Don't leave the girl behind.
Yeah,
but I get it.
Yeah. The duck phone also makes its first appearance in this episode.
The very famous duck phone.
I love that duck phone.
Yeah, it's classic.
And it's hilarious the way that they introduce it with Snooki not being able to get this thing to work to save her life.
It's a Mallard. It's a Mallard phone.
A Mallard, yes. Yeah. She keeps hanging up on everyone who tries to call. How long was she sitting there to have gotten as many different calls as she hung up on?
I mean, I was caught off by the landline.
Yeah.
That's what stuck out most to me. I was like, well, would you look at that?
Yeah. I think the duck phone was it was a prop that was thrown in there at the last minute. I don't think it was actually like a decision. I think someone found it in a thrift store or something, thought it was funny, and decided to put it in there at the last minute.
And now it's like pop culture, like icon, that phone.
I love that duck phone.
Cool.
The Mike Sam relationship is blooming.
Yeah, Mike Sam. I got a little quote from Sam. Mike has been amazing. I think that's the last time anyone says that in the course of the show. Mike was amazing.
Yep.
At least for a while.
Yeah, the JWoww boyfriend is revealed to all the roommates at this point.
Here's something I want to bring up. Look, towards the end of the episode, Snooki comes out and admits what happened. You know, she knows that there's a problem there. But she comes out, she says what she needs to say, apologizes it. And I really thought that was commendable of her to do that. I
loved that about her. I thought that was so genuine. So this actually happens the next day. At this point, you know, the scene's changing. We join the roommates as Nicole is hungover. She is puking, head in the toilet. Super gross audio of that. I don't know if you
I might have skipped. Yeah, I might have skipped that little part.
The sound of puking into a toilet is just something I cannot.
Such a specific sound.
It really is. The roommates leave her behind once again. She's hungover, so they leave her behind because it's the first day of work and they have to go to their orientation.
Yeah, immediately clicking up.
So she finally shows up to work and she's got to explain herself to Danny, the boss, and her excuse is, I was in the bathroom. No other excuse. No. Not I was sick, not I was hungover or anything. I was in the bathroom. And he goes, well, that's not going to fly.
Danny, right? That's the Danny, yeah. Cool guy. I like Danny. Danny. And I think he handles the situations that the cast puts him in admirably.
God bless this guy.
Yeah. Well, and apparently too, a little bit of more trivia for you: the jacuzzi loft area that they always hang out in, that is actually above the t-shirt shop.
Yes, which I think I didn't know, but over the course of the seasons, you kind of start getting a feel for the logistics of the way the house is set up. So all they would really have to do is walk backwards, like a block or two back, to get to the front of the house.
Yeah.
From work to the house to the work.
They stitch it together like it's a part of the house.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was a part of the house, but apparently it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not a part of the house.
Oh, interesting.
At least I don't think.
I think it is.
That's on part.
Because the patio attaches to the sliding door and the stairs go right up from the sliding door.
You know what we're going to have to do?
Map.
We're going to have to go see it for ourselves. We don't have the technology to see that right now.
Yeah, so at this point, I think the pressure is setting in on her. She's messed up with the roommates right off the bat. She's messed up at work right off the bat. And that's when she ends up confronting the roommates. And I was just like, go Snooki on that part. Like, wow, that takes some stones.
For real.
To be outnumbered and then to confront them over it.
She saw a problem. She addressed the problem. And then the problem was resolved. And then everyone loved Snooki from that point on.
I don't know if I would say loves. I feel like there is still a little bit of proving herself. But yeah, it definitely helped to move things in the right direction, because I think even throughout the rest of this episode and the next one, she's still struggling with if she wants to stay or not.
Yeah, that's what we kind of leave the episode on, is her trying to figure out if she's going to leave or not.
It's during that confrontation that we get one of those Sammy sour moments. I don't know if you picked up on this, but she says something along the lines of, I don't want your pukey breath on me. I don't have time for stupid bitches.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, hang on, baby girl.
Pukey breath.
Like, wait a minute.
But the pukey breath, that's the thing.
Pukey breath.
Don't come talk to me with pukey breath.
Listen, okay? I get that, but I feel like it was a little much. You didn't have to say that.
The bitch was probably a little much.
I don't have time for stupid bitches. Yeah. Like, you might want to take a look in the mirror.
You put up with yourself so much.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then it kind of starts, the show kind of, the episode kind of just starts winding down from that point, right?
Yeah, we get a couple of good one-liners from everyone. At some point, Polly says, girls are supposed to cook, guys are supposed to eat.
Yeah. Classic. And I agree.
The accents when they're naming off the thing that they're having for a Sunday dinner. Chicken. Peppers.
Yeah, sausage. I can't do the accent.
Chicken. Peppers.
Their family dinners are nice. That's the one thing I appreciate about Mike. Mike looks like he knows how to cook.
Yeah, he definitely does a lot of the cooking.
He's 47 years old.
Right.
So
right. There was a Bible in the middle of the dinner table. I don't know if you clocked that.
I don't know if I did. I feel like I did notice that.
At this dinner, Snooki also apologizes again to everyone. And Sam kind of says, well, I appreciate that. Jenny ends up giving her a little kiss on the cheek, which I thought was really sweet. And that kind of establishes their relationship for the rest of the series and beyond. Because I think to this day, they're still really good friends. Yeah. And then we cut to a scene where Ronnie has a fedora on, questionably, and inexplicably has a fedora on, because I haven't seen this
really
on him.
Maybe that was
up to this point.
Maybe that was one of those things where he bought it
on the boardwalk.
I don't think he bought it on the boardwalk. I think he bought it. Didn't get a feel for it, the first couple of times.
Maybe good intentions.
But then the Jersey Shore thing came up. He threw it in there last minute, was maybe feeling pretty good about himself, threw it on there. And then it just didn't, wasn't a good sell.
This is also the time when we get into the guys inviting the 3 random girls up.
I'm going to backtrack to this hat situation because I've been there.
Are you back to the hat thing again?
Yeah, I bought a hat. It was a very cool little hat like that. I don't want to say it was a fedora, but I bought it thinking that, I was going to be a hat guy. I never wore that hat, ever. I think I threw it away.
I think you need to let it go.
Yeah.
We can't circle back around to hats again.
I'm just saying, hats seem to be coming up a lot, so I'm going to talk about them when I can.
Anyways, the guys do have their 3 randoms up there in the hot tub. Sam and Angelina are hating so hard. They're sitting so close to the hot tub, which I thought was so awkward. And again, I didn't know if that was a production decision to make them go sit as close to the hot tub as they did.
That's called blocking.
Yes.
It's called blocking. How do you like that?
Good one.
Is that pretty good? I've only got the button over here, so if you want to anything out, then
just
you're gonna have to,
raise my hand or something. This is also the point where Mike starts kind of debating which direction he wants to go with his life.
As always, Mike is always trying to figure out where am I supposed to be going.
So he gets out of the hot tub promptly when he sees that Sam is kind of not happy with the situation, and she tells him, "Don't get nervous."
She does say that. Yeah, she does say that.
He promptly gets himself back into the hot tub with the girls. So I don't know.
Yeah, them being that close and watching, don't do that. What are you doing? What are you doing? Looking for trouble.
Yeah, the hot tub girls have a very loud exit. They were not happy about getting kicked out by the girls.
That's right. First night too, huh?
So there's also a miscommunication here at this point, because Snooks thinks that the whole house, all the roommates, are still mad at her because they're downstairs yelling at these 3 random girls to get out. She thinks they're still angry about the situation that happened with Snooks.
That's
so
right.
I think that further complicates her decision about whether she wants to stay or go.
Just goes to show you perspective,
Yeah.
Because no one was mad at her. I don't think anyone had even thought about that. They were mad at Mike.
This is also where Ange does the Back to the Future Grandpa Biff. Hello.
The one that we get in the intro. Hello.
Yes, they're taking their clothes off in the jacuzzi. Hello.
Are you dumb?
Are you dumb?
Yeah.
Are you stupid?
That's right. We'll need to piece together the intro.
We got a lot of their opening taglines in the opening
one.
footage.
JWowws was something.
Yeah. I will rip your head off.
Yeah.
Ron also is calling Angelina Jolie a lot.
They do that.
Did you pick up on that?
I did pick up on that.
So I think maybe at one point that's what she was trying to make her nickname, Jolie.
But everyone was
and it never stuck. I
mean,
mean,
was like,
no, we're not doing that.
We're not going to do that. No. Anything that you say, we're going to do the opposite. Angelina, you dirty hamster.
Ron says, Mike, you're the root of all the problems. Wow, what a foreshadowing.
Yeah, true, because Mike generally, we're going to get into the situation room a lot coming up here.
Snook still thinks that she's an outsider at this point. She calls her parents, and I love her relationship with her mom and dad in this moment. Just the way that she's so open with them. And we see that again and again throughout the series. She'll just call her parents whenever she's having a hard time or whatever. She's so honest with them.
Yeah, she's honest with a lot of people. I think that's a really, really good trait about Snooki, is that she is okay with saying, hey, I messed up, or hey, I need to call this out right now.
So as Snooks is still kind of debating, what she should do, the episode ends with the girls trying to convince her not to leave, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah.
And that's the way the episode ends, on the cliffhanger of does Snooki stay or go?
Yeah. We're introduced to our cast, who we're going to get to know and love as the seasons go on. I think the first season is honestly my favorite season.
Yeah.
Because it is so pure from what the show ends up being once everyone knows about it. The show went on for a long time.
It really did.
6 seasons, 7 seasons,
something like that. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not including all the reunion stuff,
which I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't got into the family vacation.
I started getting into it, and I kind of dropped off just because they're different people now.
They've got kids.
they've got grown up problems,
mortgages.
Yeah.
They're in bed early.
Yeah.
They don't really do much.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different.
It's very different.
This show is unique, and I love everything about it. I'm pretty excited to be able to explore these people a little bit.
It's so nice to be rehashing this as well. I haven't actually watched the full series in a while, so it's going to be nice doing it this way.
Yeah. What else what do we got coming up here on this next episode? They leave us with a nice little fight montage.
Yeah,
which I appreciated.
Their recaps and the previews of what's coming up. I mean,
we start getting into the thick of it.
Yeah,
in the second episode,
a lot of the character development I think starts to happen in these next couple of episodes. So
cool. All right, well, guys, that is the first episode of the first season of Jersey Shore, revisiting the pilot. Here with my sister Christy.
This podcast is called The Macaroni Rascals.
The Macaroni Rascals is what...
Don't Call Me Shirley was the other option we had.
But we're going to go ahead with Macaroni Rascals. I like
Maybe we should take a vote.
Oh, you want to take a vote?
Let's maybe offer a vote.
Everyone, let us know what we should call this show.
Do you like
we don't know.
Macaroni Rascals, a Jersey Shore podcast? Or do you like Don't Call Me Shirley, a Jersey Shore podcast?
Let us know.
Let us know.
Until then, this show's not going to have a name.
How do you feel about how this went?
I think it's been pretty good for our first little run. How long do you think we talked for?
An hour?
Yeah, about 55 minutes.
Nice.
I think there's some stuff that we can kind of cut in and out there.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of outro.
Yeah. Go for it.
All right, guys. Well, this was the first episode of. We're gonna fist bump our way right here into the next episode. Join us as we pump to the beat. Thanks for listening to the first episode. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks.